once again, hello. What's good on the internet? What's good in life? I'm LI495 up after dark tonight on a night that saw the demise of legendary modern rock alternative station Q101 out of Chicago, going out with a bang. Definitely allowing all of their DJs and everybody else to say their last goodbyes today. Definitely a classy way to go out, going out with by playing a local Chicago band, the Smashing Pumpkins, Tonight, which is a song about Chicago, and then after that they played Friday, I'm in Love by The Cure, which was the first song that was played on the radio station when it launched a whole 19 years ago. So rest in peace, Q101 of Chicago. You will definitely be missed by many in that city, not to mention all of the bands that they broke through, both inside and outside of the city. But what I wanted to talk about was a video request sent to me by Danielle Kaiser, aka Miss Danny84 on Twitter, aka Kaiser Illumina on YouTube. I talk with a lot about radio and things like that, and I imagine that she's definitely been following the Q101 change, and she sent me a video request not wanting me to talk about Q101. I've done that in a couple of videos already, but wanting me instead to actually go ahead and talk a little bit about what's been going on in Albany with a couple of oldie stations up there. So thanks once again, Danielle Kaiser for that. And if you have a video request of your own, you know where to send it. Now, there are a couple of radio stations in the Albany area that play oldies. You have WTRY 98.3, which is owned by a Clear Channel, and you also have DJRA's Broadcasting's 96.7, Legends 96.7. Now, I listen to both stations, and here's the thing: I listened to both stations for my customary 2 hours. So this is 4 hours of radio listening I was doing, comparing the two stations, and I didn't necessarily get the entire playlist. I couldn't get the playlist of Legend 96.7 because the song long wasn't working. But I knew that a lot of the songs were definitely oldies, but I did get a lot of the songs that were off of the feed from WTRY, considering it's a Clear Channel station, and you can get the feed of recent songs played off any Clear Channel station. So they played David Essex, they played Temptations, they played Commodores, they played Roy Orbison, Aretha Franklin, Hall & Oates, Paul Simon, Gladys Knight, Elton John, Stevie Wonder, James Brown, Seals and Crofts, Jim Croce, Beatles, Chicago, Carl Carlton, Beach Boys, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Dobie Gray, Neil Diamond. So it was certainly an interesting playlist that they had up there for an oldies classic hit station. But here's the thing: that when I was listening to that station, that oldies classic hit station, and that playlist that I was listening to was not being locally produced from WTRY. It was actually being produced from, I believe, their iHeart Radio Network, which Clear Channel just launched some big thing involving iHeart Radio, some mega concert they're going to have with a lot of musicians from a lot of different genres sometime this September in Las Vegas. So they were just basically beaming in all this programming from, I believe, their iHeart Radio Network or someplace. It was not being locally produced. I believe they only have 2 local jocks, and I believe those are their morning jocks. I believe everything else is all syndicated or syndicated or produced from someplace else. It wasn't necessarily locally done. So it was very cheaply run, I believe, WTRY. I liked WPTR a little bit better. Now, even though WPTR isn't as high as the ratings as WTRY is, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit, I did like their balance of music better because they sounded like they were true oldies. You know, they sounded like they were real oldies, a real oldie station playing all of the legendary artists, and they were very low with the classic rock. But WTRY sounded like your typical oldies classic hit station because there was definitely a lot more rock tracks that were played on WTRY than there were on WPTR, especially considering that classic rock is basically a subsection of oldies. They sounded much more like the classic hit station that they are than I believe the oldies at 97 96.7, the Legend, or that's what you want to call it, Legends 96.7. Why am I confusing that with a now defunct classic country station out of Atlanta? I have no idea. Silly me. So that's just an analysis that I'm giving of a couple of radio stations out of Albany that played oldies. Once again, thanks to Miss Danny84, Danielle Kaiser for that. Also follow her on Twitter at Miss Danny84, as well as add her and subscribe to her on YouTube at youtube.com/Kaiser and Lumina. I'll give both the Twitter feed as well as her YouTube both in the description of this video. So what do you think? If you live in Albany, if you live in the Albany area, are there other oldies or classic hit stations out there besides these two? I believe, even though you can say that WPTR is probably better produced, at least in my opinion, even though some say that it's done out of a Crawford place in Rochester. I would have to look that up. Even though somebody said that it's done that their programming and their playlist is basically beamed to them out of Rochester someplace. WPTR, I believe, is at a 1.8 for March, April, May, and WTRY is at a 4.3. So in the ratings department, WTRY is king, as they've always been for a long time in the Albany capital district area of New York State. But right now, I do believe that they're better produced. But hey, as we've seen time and time again, better production doesn't always lead to better ratings. Sometimes the homogenized formats what leads to better ratings. That's just the way radio works sometimes. It really stinks, really. So rate, comment, react, reply, add, and subscribe. I look forward to reading your comments and talking with you guys. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you got a video question, you know what to send it to me. Until next time, I'm Li495 signing off for the night. I'll be seeing you on the internet someplace at any time, even after dark. Peace, y'all.